There are moments when life stops us cold, a moment of suffering, a quiet pause, or just a feeling that we can't keep going the way we have. That's how it began for Eckhart Tolle. One night, in the depths of depression, a strange thought came to him. I can't live with myself any longer. It echoed in his mind until something cracked open. If I can't live with myself, then who is the I, and who is the self? That question changed everything. In the silence that followed, his thoughts fell away. What remained was a deep stillness. No fear, no identity, just presence, peace. Not because his problems were solved, but because he had dropped beneath the surface of his mind. And in that moment, he discovered something we're all invited to remember. Beneath our thoughts, beneath the noise and worry and constant doing, there is a space of stillness, a space of being. That space is where life truly happens. Not in the past, not in the future, but right now. Most of us miss this. We live in our minds, always remembering, planning, regretting, hoping. Rarely are we fully here, fully alive in the present. The power of now is a guide back to that presence. Not a theory, not a belief system, an experience, a shift out of thought and into awareness. It's not about fixing yourself. It's about seeing yourself clearly, maybe for the first time, and realizing that who you are, beneath all the stories, is already whole, already peaceful, already here. We grow up believing that our thoughts are who we are. That voice in your head, constantly commenting, judging, planning, worrying, it feels like you, but it isn't. Eckhart Tolle invites us to notice something profound. If you can observe your thoughts, then you can't be those thoughts. You're the one who notices. The quiet presence behind the mental noise. This awareness, this space behind the mind, is who you truly are. The mind is not the enemy. It's a brilliant tool, but it's meant to serve you, not rule you. When the mind takes over, it pulls you out of the present moment and traps you in time. Always thinking about what went wrong, what might go wrong, what needs to change. And all of that creates suffering. The freedom begins when you learn to watch your thoughts instead of being controlled by them. When a thought comes, you can say, "There's a thought," not, "This is me." That tiny shift changes everything. You don't have to fight your mind. You simply don't feed it with your identity. When you stop believing every thought, they lose their power. And then, in that quiet space between thoughts, something new emerges. Peace, stillness, a sense of being that isn't wrapped in stories or labels. That's where real presence lives. Not in what you think, but in what you are, when thinking stops. Some pain doesn't come from this moment. It comes from the past, but it lives in you like it's still happening now. Eckhart Tolle calls this the pain body, an emotional energy field made of old hurt. It's built from every time you were rejected, abandoned, belittled, betrayed, and it's still inside, waiting to be triggered. Have you ever reacted way out of proportion to something small? A word, a tone, a glance, and suddenly you're angry, hurt, withdrawn? That's often your pain body waking up. And here's what it feeds on: drama, conflict, emotional reaction. It wants to keep the story going, not because it's evil, because it's unconscious. It only survives when you're not aware of it. But awareness changes everything. When you see the pain body, when you notice it rising instead of becoming it, you stop feeding it. You create space between the emotion and your response. You feel the pain, but you don't get lost in it. That moment of presence begins to dissolve the pain body. It's not about fighting your emotions. It's about holding them in stillness, without judgment, without story. And yes, it can feel intense. But when you stay conscious in the face of that emotion, something powerful happens. The energy of pain transforms into space, into freedom. You're no longer just reacting. You're aware. And awareness heals. You start to see that you're not broken. You're carrying pain, but you're not defined by it. And the more conscious you become, the less control the past has over you. The pain body weakens, and you grow stronger. In peace, in presence, in truth. The past is memory. The future is imagination. The only thing that's real, the only place life actually happens, is now. But most of us miss it. We're always somewhere else in our heads, replaying what happened, worrying about what might happen, waiting for the next thing, hoping it will finally bring peace. But it never does. Eckhart Tolle says, "The way out of this endless loop isn't through more thinking. It's through presence. Right here. Right now." So how do you enter the now? You don't force it. You notice it. Try this. Feel your breath. Not as a concept, but as a sensation. Air moving in and out. Notice your hands, the quiet aliveness inside them. Notice the sounds around you. Not labeling, just listening. The moment you give your full attention to now, even for a few seconds, something shifts. Thought fades into the background. Your senses come alive. You feel still, alert, deeply connected. That's presence. It's simple, but not always easy. Because the mind wants to pull you back. It says, this moment isn't enough. It wants something to fix, judge, or chase. But the more you practice coming back to now, the more natural it becomes. You realize, this moment is enough. You don't need to escape it. You just need to be in it. And in that being, you find a quiet joy. Not because life is perfect, but because you're no longer missing it. You're finally here. The moment you try to be present, the mind usually pushes back. It starts telling you, this is boring, or you're not doing this right. It pulls you back into the past or spins you forward into the future. It distracts, analyzes, criticizes. Anything but being still. Why? Because the mind thrives on movement. It wants to keep thinking. That's its comfort zone. And the present moment, real, silent, unstructured, is unfamiliar territory. Eckhart Tolle says, this resistance isn't personal. It's just habit. The mind is used to running the show. So when you start paying attention to now, it feels threatened, like it's losing control. That's why we avoid presence in small ways all the time. We fidget. We check our phone. We replay old conversations. We wait for something more exciting to come. But here's the secret. You don't need to silence the mind by force. You only need to see it. Just notice. Notice the voice in your head trying to escape the moment. Don't argue with it. Don't judge it. Just see it for what it is. A pattern. And in that noticing, the pattern starts to lose its grip. You might find that presence often slips in during the quietest moments, washing your hands, walking outside, sipping tea, everyday things filled with life when you give them your full attention. And little by little, you stop resisting now. You stop needing every moment to be entertaining or productive. You start to enjoy just being. And when that happens, the mind's tricks don't work the same way anymore. You see through them. You come back to now, gently, naturally, not because you're forcing anything, but because you're finally free to feel the life that's always been right here. Presence is more than paying attention. It's not just focusing harder or thinking less. It's a shift in how you experience life. A quiet, steady awareness that isn't trying to get anywhere else. When you're present, you're not waiting for the next thing. You're not chasing an outcome. You're fully here with whatever is unfolding, without resistance, without judgment. And in that space, something extraordinary happens. You begin to feel free. Not because your problems disappear, but because your relationship with them changes. You're no longer consumed by what happened or what might happen. You stop reacting automatically. You start responding from clarity. Eckhart Tolle describes presence as your natural state. The one beneath all the doing, all the roles, all the mental noise. And when you return to it, you feel something familiar, like coming home. There's a deep peace in presence, a quiet joy that isn't based on circumstances. It's subtle, but powerful. You can feel it while sitting in silence, or in the middle of a busy street. It's not about your environment, it's about your awareness. And the more time you spend in this space, the more it begins to change you. You become less reactive, less rushed, more grounded, more honest. You notice beauty in simple things. The sound of the wind, the feeling of your breath, the pause between words. And in that noticing, you realize peace was never far away. It was only ever hidden by noise. Being truly present isn't something you master. It's something you remember, over and over again. And every time you come back, life becomes just a little more real, a little more alive, a little more yours. If the mind is where we often get lost, the body is where we find our way back. Eckhart Tolle teaches that the body isn't just a physical shell. It's a doorway to presence, to stillness, to life itself, and you can access it at any moment. He calls it the inner body. It's not about muscles or organs. It's the subtle sense of aliveness inside you. The quiet energy that's always been there, beneath the surface. Try it now. Bring your attention to your hands. Don't move them. Just feel them from within. That gentle tingling, that faint hum of life. That's the inner body. The moment you tune into it, you step out of the mind and into presence. You can do this with any part of your body. Your feet on the floor, your chest as it rises with the breath, the stillness in your belly. These sensations anchor you in the now. They bring your awareness home. Why is this so powerful? Because the mind can lie. It spins stories, jumps to conclusions, creates fear. But the body only ever tells the truth of this moment. It doesn't live in yesterday or tomorrow. It lives right here. And when you feel it fully, you do too. Tolle encourages using the inner body in daily life, while walking, while listening, while in conversation, not to escape reality, but to be more deeply in it. And when you live like that, something shifts. You carry a calm that doesn't come from controlling life, but from feeling it. You don't have to understand the inner body. You just have to feel it. It's always there. And so are you. Most of what we focus on in life has form. Things we can see, name, measure. People, objects, thoughts, emotions. Always something happening, something changing. But Eckhart Tolle invites us to look deeper. Beneath all this movement, there is stillness, a background of silence that holds everything. He calls it the unmanifested, the formless presence behind the world of form. You can't see it with your eyes. You can't think your way into it. But you can feel it in moments when the mind goes quiet and something vast opens inside you. Maybe you felt it in nature, in a deep breath after a long day, in the pause between two thoughts, that gentle awareness that just is, untouched by whatever's going on around it. This isn't about escaping life. It's about seeing life more fully. When you become present, truly present, you begin to sense that stillness. The world may stay the same on the surface, but you experience it differently. You feel connected to something deeper, something unchanging. Tolle calls these portals into the unmanifested: silence, stillness, breath, deep presence. Everyday experiences that become sacred when entered fully. And when you spend time in that depth, even a little, you stop being so easily shaken. You no longer depend on the outer world to give you peace, because you've found where it actually lives. In that space, you realize you are not just a person with thoughts and emotions. You are the awareness that holds it all. The sky behind the weather. The stillness behind the sound. The life behind the name. Relationships can be our greatest source of love and our greatest trigger for pain. We come into them with hopes, needs, expectations. We want to feel seen, valued, understood. But often, instead of peace, we find tension, miscommunication, emotional reactions that feel way bigger than the moment deserves. Why? Eckhart Tolle says it's because most relationships are built on unconsciousness. Two minds, two pain bodies, reacting to each other, playing out old stories without realizing it. But when even one person in a relationship becomes present, everything can change. Presence creates space. It gives you the ability to pause before you speak, to listen without defensiveness, to notice your emotions without being controlled by them. It's not about becoming perfect. It's about becoming aware. You start to notice your patterns. Maybe you tend to shut down or explode or blame. But instead of just doing it, you see it happening. That moment of noticing is where transformation begins. Because awareness doesn't react. It sees. It holds space. And in that space, love can grow again. Not the romantic high that comes and goes, but a steady presence, a deep honoring of the other as they are, without needing to change them to feel okay. When both people are present, the relationship becomes something more than emotional need. It becomes a place of growth, a mirror for awareness, a field for shared awakening. And even if the other person isn't on this path, your presence still has power. It's grounding. It's calming. It invites others to rise, not through pressure, but through example. Tolle reminds us, peace in relationships doesn't come from fixing others. It comes from awakening within ourselves, from showing up fully, from loving consciously. We're taught to chase happiness, to make the right moves, get the right things, find the right people, so we can finally feel good. And sometimes it works. For a while. But then life shifts. The feeling fades. What once made us happy now feels ordinary, or even stressful. Eckhart Tolle shows us why. What we call happiness is often just pleasure dressed up. It's based on circumstances. It comes and goes. And when we attach ourselves to it, we ride a constant wave, up and down, always needing the next high. But there's something deeper than happiness. Something that doesn't depend on what's happening around you. Tolle calls it peace. Not the peace of everything going your way. The peace of being okay, even when it doesn't. This peace comes from presence, from no longer needing the moment to be different, from accepting what is without resistance. It doesn't mean you don't feel emotions. You still do, but you're no longer lost in them. You can feel sadness or fear or even joy without clinging to any of it, because underneath it all, there's stillness, awareness, the part of you that doesn't come and go. It's subtle, easy to miss. But once you feel it, even once, you know it's real, and it's yours. The mind may keep chasing highs, but you don't have to follow. You can stay here, in the quiet strength of presence. You don't need to wait for peace. You just need to stop leaving it. When we hear the word surrender, we often think of giving up, losing, letting life push us around. But Eckhart Tolle gives it a new meaning, one that's not weak at all, but full of quiet strength. Surrender, he says, means stopping the inner fight. It means no longer resisting the present moment, no longer arguing with reality, no longer needing things to be different before you can be at peace. You're not giving up on life. You're giving up on the struggle against life. And when you do that, something powerful happens. You become calm, even in discomfort. Clear, even in uncertainty. You begin to see that so much of your pain didn't come from what was happening, but from the thought that it shouldn't be happening. Surrender doesn't mean you stop taking action. It means your actions come from a place of alignment, not resistance. You're not reacting from fear or frustration. You're responding from presence. It's like this. If you're stuck in traffic, surrender isn't about loving the delay. It's about letting go of the mental war against it. You breathe, you relax, you accept, and suddenly, you're not stuck anymore. Your mind was. This kind of surrender leads to real power, because you're no longer being pulled in 10 directions. You're steady, focused, rooted in the now. And in that space, life begins to move with you, not against you. You see, peace doesn't come when life gets easier. It comes when you stop fighting what is. You don't need to fix the moment. You need to meet it. Fully, gently. Now, thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this summary, hit subscribe for more deep dives into all kinds of books.